was said. We had His Excellency talking about regional security as paramount, and a number of speakers that had something to say. We are still focusing on the same much as the day was celebrated yesterday. We want to look at 43 years of Tarehe Sita, right from the 1980 when we saw the journey begin to today when we have a standard professional army. From then, a ragtagged army, less professional if they were anyway, where we also had those below 18, young as 11, 13, that were commonly known as kadogos, till today where it's total an abomination to have such in the UPDF. When by then we had, some would call them rebels, bandits, and today as we speak, we have an army that is not only a Ugandan army, because not only dealing with issues of Uganda, but a global. When we talk about the African continent, where have we not gone for rescue when we are required? You find us in Somalia, peacekeeping missions, in so many countries. So that is what we are going to be discussing with the chairperson, Parliamentary Defense Committee, Honorable Wilson Kajwenje. And he happens to be the MP of Nyabusozi in Kiruhura District. Honorable, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much. And good morning to you, Chirabo, and good morning to you, dear viewers. Pleased to be part of this morning show, etc. You called it.
Yes.
Yes, we are talking about 43 years of a professional army, a disciplined force that you can be proud of. But first of all, what is Tarehe Sita? Tarehe Sita is a Kiswahili word meaning date, sixth. Tarehe is date, Sita is 6. Tarehe Sita. So it is the 6th of February when the first gun was fired, when then Yoweri Kaguta Museveni with 27 armed patriots and others, in total there were 41 in Elore, that even and other cars that broke down along the way when they attacked Kabamba. That heralded into a revolution, transformation that we see today. So that date of 6th of February 1981 is what we call Tarehe Sita.
Well explained.
Tarehe Sita mwezi wa pili.
I'm not very good in Kiswahili,
yes, but exactly.
At least thank you for that broad explanation. Yes. To many who may not have understood it,
yes,
given the fact that a big number of our population today, the youth, were neither there where these things were happening, nor are they very fluent when it comes to Kiswahili. Now, Honorable, let's first take a look at the various transformational levels that now what we cherish, the UPDF,
yes,
has undergone.
So first of all, it's important to note that although government has been in power for 38 years, but UPDF celebrates 43 years. So that difference of 5 years is exactly the years that they spent in Ruwero Triangle, in the jungles of Ruwero Triangle. It was then a ragtag army. I agree entirely. It was not professional. There was even no time to professionalize. These were revolutionary, angry patriots who said no, and they went to the bush. They started a people's protracted war. And while there, and because of the maladministration, because of torture of civilian population, because of harassment, because of whatever bad thing that was associated with the UPC government, people are running away. And those who ran away from the maladministration, from torture, from killings, from extrajudicial killings, ran to the bush. And so that's the reason you found Kadogo's young people. It was never intention of the UPDF today or NRA or PRA then to recruit young people. No. But these were people who are seeking refuge, who are seeking safety areas. So when they ran to the arms, they were also given arms. They were trained to protect themselves and protect the people. So the 5 years fast forward of an army, of a determined force of young, angry, patriotic, and Pan-African citizens of Uganda who had nothing to eat, they had no gardens, they had no food supplies, they had no clothing, they had no medication, but the only zeal and the impetus they had within them was that patriotism to fight and liberate the country.
Now, there is a word you've used, Honorable, that is protracted people's struggle.
Yes.
Throw more light.
Protracted, meaning it was never meant to be a one day. They never planned for a coup. It was something that was going to take time. And they prepared themselves, they prepared the population that it was going to take time. And it was going to be a people's war. Meaning the population would be part of the army that was fighting. And that's why we call it a people's army right from its inception. Because you see, a people's revolutionary army is like, is it Mao Zedong who said it? Like fish in water. If water is normal, fish is normal. So the population in Ruwero Triangle, and later Ugandans are now today, have been part and parcel of this transformation. The army draws its forces from the population. And the population feeds the army with good information, with able-bodied men and women to go and fight. And they provide food, they provide clothing. Now, in the bush, of course, we said, because they had nowhere to buy food, they had nowhere to, they had no money in the first case. So they were fed by the population they were living in, the water now. They were clothed by the communities they were living in. So it was a symbiotic relationship. They were being protected by the population. And from there, it crammed into them that we have to live with the people. So it became a people's revolutionary army. At that time, it was Popular Resistance Army. It metamorphosed into National Resistance Army. And later, when Parliament changed the name, it now, as it is known today, Uganda People's Defense Forces. And so 43 years of a disciplined, professional armed forces that has brought us pride as a country, that every able-bodied Ugandan professional or non-professional dreams to be part of. That when you meet our forces in the pips and red, you really feel proud. That have now transformed the country, Uganda as a nation, into an admirable, enviable society to stay in. That has, if I may say this, that Uganda now has a recipe for stability, for security, development, and transformation. The last 38 years, we have not been attacked from across the borders, and credits to UPDF. 1996, when Allied Democratic Forces tried that, they were driven not only to Congo, and they have never stayed inside.
What we have are pockets of terrorists.
Those happen, and they happened
everywhere, even in the United States.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can't forget the twin bombings.
Absolutely. So they have fought terrorism. They have brought stability in Uganda. They have stabilized at the Pan-African balance. They have stabilized. So they have first of all, liberated South Sudan and stabilized it at the same time. They have been peacekeepers on the continent. They are part of the stability and development in Somalia today. They have kept peace in Liberia. They are part of the stability in Central African Republic. They are part of the stability and development in Rwanda. They have helped Burundi. They have helped the Democratic Republic of Congo. That is your UPDF. So 43 years of an army, of a force that is disciplined, that is professional, that is admirable.
And indeed, Honorable,
And
when you
now
talk about...
they have, interestingly, they have now gone into what armies in peacetime do, production.
Oh, I was looking at some of the armored vehicles recently.
Absolutely.
When we had the non-aligned movement.
What they were
the
displaying.
Summit at Serena, there was a business and exhibition that was alongside the non-aligned movement. And I saw armored vehicles made by our neck, and I was like, wow.
Different platforms.
Platforms.
I mean, what National Enterprises Corporation, which is part of the UPDF, what they are doing is admirable.
Look at the
Are you
engineer-
also aware that they are part of the Kira revolution, the Kira Motors revolution?
That's just something, yes.
The Kira buses. Look at monumental infrastructure development. Look at our international airports today, Entebbe. Delivered expertly in record time. And should I also say, at a cost far below what others would have done.
Definitely.
They did an excellent job, expertly done, professionally done, delivered in time. That is your UPDF Engineering Brigade. Monumental infrastructure.
They're also doing a very good work at Nambole Stadium.
Absolutely.
Very good work, at least I've been able to.
They are working on our roads in the city. They delivered Kororo airstrip, if you remember, the ceremonial grounds. They have done and they continue to do.
Also now railway line.
Absolutely.
They're doing some.
They are building the railway line.
They're building the railway line with modern technology, not these usually steel made that they would still. Now they're having some form of.
Now that is what armies in peacetime do. They are also doing it. In production, they are part of the transformation of a nation, of a country.
And we are seeing them also, Honorable, in key positions where in the fight against corruption, they are heading a number of institutions right now.
In fact, if you remember, earlier on, before they became intensely professional, were reports of some maladministration. And they have overcome that.
Ghost soldiers.
They have outgrown that. They are now purely professional and non-corrupt. But also corruption that we talk about, where do they draw population from? Where do they draw forces from? It's from us. But they transform people they recruit, they train them into people who do not associate with corruption. We are still continuing. They are also into food production. You probably have seen mineral water, Uzima water. That's the product of NEC, and that's UPDF. So an army that can feed itself, defend the country and protect itself. An army that has gone into even business with joint ventures. They are now into commercial explosives production. I think the first of its kind in Eastern Central Africa. Uganda manufactures commercial explosives and exports them. And that's UPDF and the NEC. They are into animal feeds production. They are going to support our beef export market and earn us a lot of foreign exchange. It's an army that we admire most. UPDF, 43 years of discipline, 43 years of defense of a nation, 43 years of stability, not only of Uganda, but stability of East Africa. You have also seen them participate in international games, international competitions, and they come out victors. They have been and they continue holding our flag higher and higher. They make us proud, home and away. They are an admirable force.
Now, Honorable, so much good has been said, and indeed which happens to be true. It's not just about praising the UPDF, and when you talk about it's being admired by many people, I've seen a number of people who desire even to wear the attire of UPDF,
Yeah, you know.
including an honorable member of parliament, minister, we have our own fraternity member, Andrew Mwenda.
Don't blame them. Don't blame
We've
Ugandans.
seen
Because they want
various
to associate.
artists,
Yeah.
they want to associate with this army that previously,
Yeah.
the armies previous, of course, that wasn't UPDF, that Ugandans would never want to associate themselves with
Yeah.
because of the bad record that they had.
Chirabo, they say success has many fathers. Failure is an orphan.
Let's just switch off that.
Yes. When you succeed, you have many people who associate with that success, who claim to be part of it. So for me, yes, it is. It's not regular. It is irregular to wear military uniform. But forgive them. They are trying to be part of the success story. They want to associate with a successful, professional, and disciplined army. They wish they were UPDF.
Let's leave that as that. Now let's try also to look at some of the challenges. Well, my viewer, you can be part of the topic of discussion this morning by simply using the number that is on your screen. Send me a WhatsApp message or a text message. Kindly do that in time so that we have enough time to go through these messages. Sometimes you do that very late towards the end of the show, and well, we end up missing out some of your messages. Do it now. Send us that message, send us a text message, and my guest, who happens to be the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Defense, will be able to respond to that. The Honorable Member of Parliament I have. Now, Honorable, we want to look at some of the challenges.
Yes.
Yes, when you talk about professionalization, we've gone there. When we talk about it's no longer a rag-tagged force.
Yes.
Today, you look at these officers, very smart.
Very well
very
dressed.
smart.
Yes.
Shoes ever polished.
Yes.
I don't know the bill that government spends on that. When they are talking to you, they're very polite.
Yes.
I stay in an area where there is a barracks and also a police force. But in case you're moving at night and you come across 12 soldiers moving, just enjoy yourself.
Absolutely. They
Move
have nothing
through,
to do with you.
nothing. But sometimes when you
Yet, you know,
that
in the
sometimes
80s,
when you meet police officers,
so
they will disturb you, this and, you know, it becomes problematic. But for you, PDF, no, they'll be as if they've not even seen you.
because they are on their own mission.
Yes, they're on their own mission, and we cherish. Sometimes you go, you meet them in some places, even pick arguments, and you see this person is very calm and humble. That's when they'll tell you, hey, that is a captain.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Jirabo, I think we should also caution Ugandans. First of all, these are not robots. They are not metallic robots.
Yes.
They are human beings. But they are trained and commanded to remain disciplined. But it's also not good to poke
Provoke.
them, to provoke them. They might react. And if they react, then don't blame them. So, but it's good for the civilian population, very good to hear that you give that testimony. Now, for me, as a member of parliament and chairperson of Defense and Internal Affairs Committee, when they come for budget, we put them to a task. We give them the money that they need to perform various missions, execute their strategic missions, protect the country, defend us, and also in production. All that I said. So Parliament is part of that. And I can tell you on behalf of my committee and on behalf of Parliament that we really like, we associate ourselves with the milestones that they have gone to.
But Honorable, before you give credit to yourself and your committee, issues of welfare are some of the things that I really think we should also discuss, however brief we may go, because these are security forces. There's been great achievement. But like I said, I'm in an area where I'm so close to these people. The issue today, when you look at some of the schools, previous, you'd find that almost a soldier would not have to worry about school fees because almost every barracks had a school. There was quality education. Right. When you go to accommodation, you know, sometimes accommodation is very wanting.
Mama ingia pole.
You know, much as they're smart, some are there with their families, and then it is, we cherish these men and women, but accommodation, welfare, in terms of remunerations, you find that there's still so much wanting. And good I have you today.
Yeah. First of all, let me, because I didn't say this, let me mention that the other milestone that the UPDF has achieved is that now you enter, you are an officer, you know at this age, you retire. We have seen, and that's part of the professionalization of the army. And those who retire get their retirement benefits. In fact, we've been holding them accountable and say, those that did not get must get. We must budget so that everyone who serves this country, who sleeps in the trenches, is given what he or she deserves. This is our responsibility as Parliament to make sure that happens. And we are proud of that. Now, as far as welfare is concerned, that's one thing that now we are going to. Because not all of them are now in operations. So when they are in the barracks, we want to see that that the conditions of living are better. They suit a professional force like they are. In areas of education, they have come with proposals to put secondary schools in where they are concentrated. We are looking at that. We are looking at what is easy. Because, you know, when the army is educating their own, when they're educating their own children, there is less pressure, less family pressure on the family heads. They can now pursue their objectives, their mission, wherever they are, without getting worried whether kids are getting education or they have where to sleep comfortably. That's one area we must focus on. I entirely agree with you. Medication, medical care.
Actually, medical, I must say there has been a very huge improvement.
Yes.
And many people would run to hospitals. Talk about Bombo Hospital. Many people will tell you when you go there, the medicine's there, the doctors are there, and civilians.
Again, that's part of
and civilians would rather go to such a hospital. When you look at the various technologies, for the example, is it in Mubende? Some years back, where those that have gotten problems during the war, the technology they have adopted, rims, legs, and all this. Health, I must say, yes, it's a step in the right direction.
I'm happy you acknowledge that. We also acknowledge it. And
if we could go to welfare and educating the children, I think that
I think that now that's one area where we must put our money. Don't you say take a cent Wallaba? Because we must educate our children, irrespective of whether they are children of soldiers, children of police officers, or children of civilians. But for UPDF, because that's our topic today, and all serving forces, by the way, those that are on duty 24 hours, their families, their children need to be taken care of. They need to be educated in facilities that are good, okay, but also at a cost that is affordable to them. If you say subsidized, much better, but that's one area we need to focus on. I'm happy that schools do exist. We are looking at them, but it's something that we need to put our energies and our minds and money on. More schools, because then that gives opportunity, it gives them comfort. It reduces pressure on the parents, wherever they are, if they are on a mission in Somalia, Central African Republic, or anywhere.
When they are assured of education.
You are sure that my children are going to school, they are getting good education. They will serve the country, they will serve the nation, they will serve the continent better.
Now, Honorable, yes, messages are coming in. Please keep them coming. But before I go to messages, let's also look at another challenge that the armed forces are facing now. These could be allegations, but of course, even at times, we are seeing some of these things happen. But good you're with me today. Now, the Uganda People's Defense Forces that we're talking about now, by law is supposed to be non-partisan.
Correct.
There have been claims that over a time, there is continuous, in-depth involvement of the army in politics. Honorable, what is your take on this?
That's actually true. Those allegations are there. First of all, I want you to know that we have in the 11th parliament, even in 10th and I think even 9th and 4th, we had members of parliament from the UPDF.
Yes, representing
UPDF as an interest group. But on the floor of parliament, when we are debating both NRM and the opposition, in fact, even the sitting, they sit right in the middle. They only come in to clarify what concerns the UPDF. They are non-partisan in debate, those members of parliament. Yet, most of them very knowledgeable and exposed, would be contributing to the debate on either party, either side. But they maintain that independent posture of making sure the interests of the organization they represent are catered for. We are going to amend the UPDF Act of 2005. Soon, I think government will be tabling the amendments. I am confident that once it is brought to Parliament for amendments, all those challenges you are highlighting will be catered for. Okay? But UPDF, who are they foreigners? Are they people from abroad? It is us.
They are Ugandans.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The issue, I think, why it came up to say that they should not be partisan was, and still is, anchored on the history of this country. Because those who held the gun before UPDF used the power of the gun to usurp people's power and misuse it. So there was this thinking that everyone in uniform holding a gun would behave like those of yesteryears, of Amini, of UPC, and other previous governments. So that clause was put in there to make sure armed forces should never, because if they did, then they would get undue advantage because of holding a gun. Today, however, our democracy is so developed to the extent that it doesn't matter whether you are holding a gun or not, whether you are UPDF. It's the population that decides. If they say they don't need you, they don't need you.
But if you drag them...
If you go for elective politics, party elective politics, you must have retired from the army.
Yes.
Okay? And still, you cannot wield that influence and power I have seen on many occasions former soldiers failing to make it
In elections, yes.
in elections.
But what about when we see them involved in electoral processes? They are not contesting, but they're involved. We see them, one rally, political rally is happening, the others. We have members in uniform.
Not for purposes of keeping...
yes, but being, let me be protective and say, being dragged into this politics, you know? So, Honorable, how then do we, because it automatically creates an imbalance. If I know you're having maybe a captain, a major, I don't want to go to higher ranks, you know, and supporting you vividly, sometimes technical knockouts like obstructing my people to come for campaigns,
I have also
protecting
seen
you this side, and then me, I can't hold my rally. Today, when we see them kind of arrest what one would call, I want to raise my fingers and quote, political prisoners, you know, all these are issues that now people seem to be seeing as tainting the image of this good force you've talked about.
Yes, I think that would be wrong entirely. But I've also seen with my 2 eyes where these uniformed army have rallied behind a candidate and the population says no. They vote the other way. That actually shows you how mature our politics has come. But also, but let's not defend it. For uniformed officers to, in their uniform and guns, to tilt influence in favor of one or the other, I think that is wrong. But also we credit the community that on many occasions they have also rejected that. That is part of the discussion that we are having, and I'm sure when the time comes to amend the act that is responsible for their, we'll certainly take care of that. I don't want to speculate, but I know that's part of the discussion that we are
Well, allow me now move to some of the messages that are coming in. One says, good morning, our presenter. I would like to appreciate the Uganda Army for security provided and pray to God that the Chief Commander, His Excellency Kaguta Museveni, to live longer. We have smooth transformational leadership, and my dream is to join after my studies. I am Ashaba James from Fort Portal City, near Muhoti Barracks. Okay, thank you so much, Ashaba. Then Kira buses are products from China and not Uganda. Russia as well as Chinese are the ones assembling those cars. Well, someone says, tell Honorable.
no, they need to visit and see.
Well, someone brought in just an issue we've been talking about, the drone issue, but that is something Honorable has just talked about. Hello, GMU. I'm Akandanaho Abudu in Tungamo District. If you talk about UPDF, you can't forget to talk about Kira Motors, which is also under the UPDF. Well, now this one, thank you so much. For now, let's stop the messages, please, so that we can do with this swiftly. I am Stephen from Busoga. My brother, UPDF is a well disciplined as Badonga. We never even wish them to leave us because we enjoy good times with them here in Busoga. Thank you to UPDF and God bless you. Please, Honorable Wilson, can't our police force also admire the professionalism of UPDF? To date, police has not acted professional, which makes them enemies to their own people in Uganda population. He hasn't given me a name. Please, let's have the name there. Thank you, Honorable. You're talking about the smartness of the army. But you don't talk about the welfare, salary, accommodation is very poor. Well, I think Honorable talked about that. Please, let's keep them very brief. Hello, I am Mr. Ongen Brian from Oyam District. I think the cancer which has been in Uganda many years and never had a cure, corruption, the medicine has been found. It is only that most of our voices can't be heard. But if I would wish government should give most of the activities to be done by the army, because the institute is equipped. I am 95% sure that if this is done, it's the only way we can get rid of corruption from Uganda quickly.
Is?
Well, he doesn't.
Or you employing the UPDF?
He's saying that if OPES will have UPDF, then corruption would be
end.
dealt with. Still looking at some of these. Good morning. I think it's wrong for civilians to put on military attire. That is why some people are rotting in jail. Is forgiving them not double standards? Or if an ordinary Ugandan puts on and says that he loves the force, will he or she be forgiven? Because we had the army spokesperson saying, Honorable Yanaba came out and apologized, and she was forgiven. Then still, please keep them short. So much coming in. Let me just read one final one. UPDF are not corrupt like police officers. I wish the system is changed. Ismail from Koboko. Honorable.
Okay. Now let's talk about the celebrations, Tarehe Sita. Well, I think for the last now 10 years, up until now, when they go to celebrate their day, they have a whole week of activities, and they choose a region. I can appreciate the messages from Busoga, because since 27th of last month, the UPDF has been in Busoga. They have repaired health center series. They have built classroom blocks. They have constructed markets for women and youth. They have cleaned towns and trading centers. They have unclogged pipes. They have repaired even elderly and constructed homes for elderly people. They have done projects that have a direct bearing on the life of a rural person. They have, and no wonder that they leave a mark where they go. They have also, they remember the lives of the patriots far back from Fronasa. They honor them, their lives. They associate with the children of the departed patriots. They give them medals. They bring them to the fore. Everywhere they go to celebrate, they really leave a mark. It's a milestone to do that. And so for us as members of parliament, and my colleagues were in Busesa yesterday, the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs. And all MPs from Busoga, in one way or the other, have benefited in that. Those projects. And you know, that's money, that's government money that they're using. But they use their manpower to do all that. And the community feels so honored to be part of the success story of the UPDF. You saw dignitaries, you saw army chiefs from the region, you saw ambassadors and high commissioners. I can tell you, they all appreciate the role that UPDF is going. So, in fact, each region looks forward to hosting the following Tarehe Sita, because they know the week or
the
2
medical camps.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They treat the sick, they diagnose.
Perform
they
surgeries.
They perform surgeries, they do eye care, they do inoculation. They, in that region for the 2 weeks, they really do wonderful things. And that is UPDF. The challenge, the question message came, why can't you, Uganda Police Force, also do that? I think that comes back now to us. You are representatives, because we represent you people. We have to hold Uganda Police to that target. Say, why can't you also be? It's also good to have in a country a model on which you can, a standard. Now we say, why can't you be like this? And those are not my words. They're the people words, comments from the population. So now we are also going to make sure that Uganda police also behaves like that.
Maybe the two are built on different foundations. That is
Correct.
also another issue.
Correct.
Because the strength of UPDF, like you mentioned, are people's protracted struggle.
Absolutely.
Its foundation and Uganda police really differ. And UPDF has all the time maintained the principles of its foundation. Till today, even when you look at the court martial and then you look at the police disciplinary committee, the standard profession unit, they're totally different in ways of operation. Yes.
But they're all Ugandans, aren't they?
They're all Ugandans.
Yes, and Ugandans out there demand the best from all. They want to see, they have appreciated UPDF, they want to see police also do that, they want to see prisons, all forces behave the same. And so
well,
we give
Honorable, time is
yes.
out for us, but before I let you go, let me just have your parting shot.
Thank you. Thank you. We're here appreciating Uganda police, Uganda People's Defense Forces. We are congratulating them on their 43rd anniversary. There's been 43 years monumental experience, from a ragtag army to a highly professional, admirable army that has stabilized, secured, stabilized Republic of Uganda, contributed to Pan-African cause, providing security to other countries on the continent, and now engaged in industry, in manufacturing, in production, in skills, in transforming the nation. We are proud of you, Uganda People's Defense Forces. God bless you, for God and my country.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable, for your time. I've been with Honorable Wilson Kajwenje, who happens to be the MP, Nyabusozi, that is in Kiruhura District, and the chairperson of the Parliamentary Defense and Internal Affairs Committee. Wow, we've been looking at 34 years of Terehe Sita. 43 years of Terehe Sita. And very importantly to note is it has been a journey worth talking about. So much has been achieved, and we continue to pray for our brothers and sisters, the men in uniform who diligently serve this nation, that the Almighty God may give them the courage, and of course our government, parliament, that they will continue looking into those critical areas that may pose challenges to these people as they keep on serving the country and improve them. Have a lovely day. God bless you. See you tomorrow.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra. This weekend on UBC.
The word in my mind is testosterone, a man who is overflowing